Namaste, Jayant, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go straight across to the big story where we are all waiting with bated breath. And that perhaps is the most important story right now that we need to focus on. Because today is day 11 of the rescue operations that are underway at Uttarkashi, and in just a few hours we may expect some very good news. Rescue operations are continuing for over 200 hours, nearly 250 hours now, and rescuers have drilled more than 2/3 of this entire distance horizontally through the debris, and that is nearly 45 meters is what they've already drilled through. They've just got another 15 meters of drilling to go, and they're moving at it very fast, but they're doing it cautiously. They're making sure that they make no mistake right at the edge of it, where they could just perhaps be able to extract all those trapped workers. 41 workers waiting to be pulled out ever since a portion of the Silkyara tunnel in Uttarkashi collapsed on the 12th of November, trapping the workers inside. And for the first time since the rescue operations began, images of the trapped workers captured using an endoscopic flexi camera, and the camera was inserted through the pipeline. Now, the footage shows laborers in good conditions, more importantly, in very positive spirit. They've not given up hope. There was no sign of despair. There was expectation. And I think that is perhaps what is the most important aspect. The food, water, and other required supplies, they are also being reached through a 6-inch circumference pipe. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, he will arrive at Uttarkashi but is likely to visit the site not now, but he will also wait till success is achieved, and then perhaps he will go once and for all, because he does not want to disrupt the proceedings on ground and wants all focus and concentration only on those 15 meters, ladies and gentlemen. All other activities of drilling have stopped. That's the reality. This is the entire map that you can see. This is the horizontal drilling. This was the entrance. This is that section that is now being focused on. If you were to look at it, they are trapped 260 meters inside the tunnel, about 160 meters away from the mouth of the tunnel horizontally. So that's that gap of about 57 meters exactly. 45 meters has been drilled through. So they need to get up to about 57, 58 meters before they get up to the workers. That's what they're going to do. This is the whole plan. The debris is up to 60 meters, and of course, it's the nearest approach to the workers. Horizontal drilling up to 45 meters done, only 15 meters to go. The other aspect, this Uttarkashi tunnel, Silkyara to Barcode, this is a total length of about 4.5 kilometers. 160 meters is at the entrance, 60 meter debris. 208 meters is that entire distance from 160 meters to about 208 meters. That's where they are trapped. This is the total length. Now, this is where the workers are actually trapped. This is from where the drilling is attempted, but this is the entire distance. Now, it's farther away from this nearest entrance is the Silkyara entrance, and that's why, not from Barcode, but from Silkyara, and that's where they are now going to come. 60 meter debris, 208 meters worker trapped, and 480 meters is incomplete. Nearly 2.5 kilometers from Barcode is the distance that is yet to be completed. Now, the trapped workers, for the first time, have received solid meals, all prepared under medical supervision to ensure not just easy digestion, but also to replenish the lost nutrients over the last 9 or 10 days. Now, these are the essentials that have been reached to the trapped workers so far. Apples, oranges, sweet lime, bananas. All of these can also pass through the chute, the 6-inch pipe, easily, and that's why that's been used. Crucial medicines, also hydrants like electrol has also been sent. Antidepressants have been given to all of them because they've been trapped in there for 9 whole days before they were reached on day 10, and now day 11, continuous supplies being reached out to them. And then solid food also like khichdi, dalia, that's been sent via the 6-inch pipe. Oxygen has been sent, and also by the water pipeline, and of course constant bottles of water, and of course nutrients, proteins, chana, puffed rice, dry fruits, all of this has been sent. There are 40 ambulances which are on standby. 4 or 5 of them are at the site itself, and nearly 35 of them are on standby not so far away, just in case when they are extracted they need medical care and they need to be taken. The option of airlifting them to AIMS in Uttarakhand is also there. In Rishikesh, that option also is there. Anshul joins us live. Anshul, waiting with bated breath. Is it going to happen tonight, midnight, or perhaps in the wee hours? What's the latest update?
So yes, I'll give you the latest updates. Finally, we are expecting with all confidence now that yes, the rescue operations is in its last leg. In fact, the last few meters are required to be drilled through at this point in time. In fact, just minutes ago, the team of NDRF, which was on standby for the last 11 days, has finally gone inside with oxygen cylinders, with stretchers, as well as equipments that they need to actually make sure that people are taken out at the earliest, because the plan of action that is going to be, firstly the pipe that is being inserted, once it gets through to the other end, then the cleaning process of that pipe will also happen, because remember, as the pipe has been pushed through the debris has also gotten inside the pipe, and hence the pipe would be needed to be cleaned, and post that a few members of the NDRF team along with a doctor will go inside the tunnel to the exact location where these workers are trapped. Then on the advice of the doctors as to who is the person who needs immediate medical emergency, that person would be taken out first. And how will they be taken out? In fact, what we have been told at this point in time, that mock drills have also happened in this entire matter. The stretchers are fitted with wheels, and the stretcher would then be connected to a rope that will be outside the tunnel. And as soon as the person will get on that, he will be harnessed on that, and he will be pulled out straight away, which means it is going to take very little time for them to actually reach towards the other end of the tunnel. So this is the process that is going to take place. NDRF teams have already reached in. Ambulance, as you mentioned, are already on standby. In fact, the Uttarkashi district hospital is also fully prepared to make sure that as soon as these people get there, they are put under observation for at least 24 hours, and post that we can expect that they might be taken to someplace else. If someone needs more medical emergency, then that person, after some hours of observation, would be taken to AIIMS Rishikesh. That has also been prepared at this point in time. So yes, right, the entire plan of action is now on point. But yes, what sources are telling us that it could take somewhere around the midnight for the first person to come out of the tunnel in which they have been stuck in for now more than 270 hours.
So they are going to be flat trolleys that will be used on the pipes, and the workers will be one by one harnessed. But what you're saying is NDRF, along with a team of along with one doctor, if not two, have they actually gone into the pipe already or into the tunnel already, and are they waiting for that final process to be done? You said that then there'll be jets of water thrown, then the NDRF personnel go, and they are going to go across to the other side. They're going to hang there, wait for each of these workers to be pushed or brought out or drawn out, like you're saying, because you're saying that it's going to have a long rope, and then they're just going to be pulled out. So the one person is pulled out, then that trolley is pushed back in, and the second person pulled out. That's how they're going to do it, one after the other, one by one, 41 workers.
So yes, that is the entire plan. So there are at least 2 to 3 stretchers that have been taken inside, and these stretchers would initially be taken inside by the NDRF workers through the pipe. At this point in time, the last few stages of the drilling process through the auger machine is underway, because the last few centimeters that needs to be drilled through, that is also proving to be tricky, and hence the speed of the drilling process has been slowed down. Now, according to the experts over here, the American auger machine has the capacity to drill to push through at least 600 tons of weight, but at this point in time they are not using that machine to its full strength, because the last few meters are left, and they want to make sure that there is no mistake whatsoever that happens at such a crucial juncture, and hence we are awaiting for that official confirmation to happen. When will the breakthrough happen, and when will the pipe reach towards the other end? And as soon as the pipe will reach, then the pipe will be cleaned, because there will be debris inside the pipe. Once that pipe is cleaned, then the members of the NDRF and a doctor will go inside the tunnel, and as soon as they will go inside the tunnel, the person will be harnessed and will be put on that stretcher which has wheels, and that stretcher would be connected to a rope which will be outside, and as soon as they lie on that, they'll be pulled outside in a matter of seconds. So this is the plan of action that has been prepared by the NDRF to make sure that all these people are taken out at the earliest, because yes, that risk continues inside the tunnel as well, and the NDRF and the SDRF do not want that anyone should get injured in this entire process.
So yes, has all other surrounding activity, has that been stopped? That was what the announcement that was being made this afternoon, that the vertical drilling, sideways drilling, all of that has to stop. And is this the only function that's happening? The auger machine drilling through horizontally, Anshul? Is that the only work that's happening? And we're getting some live visuals that we're playing to the left of the screen, or to the right of your screens, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we are seeing them weld and they're welding these 6-meter pipes together. It takes about an hour or two for the welding to even cool down. So it takes about 45 minutes to an hour for the welding process to be completed, and then it takes about an hour for the welding to cool down. Then it's attached to the auger machine, and then the drilling happens, and that's how these telescopic pipes are being put. Anshul, final question. So how many meters? What's the latest update? Is it 15 meters yet, or have they reached about 50 meters? We're just getting equally anxious about the good news.
So yes, there is a lot of anxiousness out here as well, and what sources have confirmed to us that more than 50 meters have already been drilled through. The last few meters are just left where the portion of the debris is a slant manner, and hence the rescuers do not want to make any mistakes at this point in time that could actually disturb the debris and that could make more debris fall, and that is the reason why we are seeing that the speed has been slowed down and has been taken under control. So yes, just the next few hours, probably the next few minutes, we can get this good news that finally that breakthrough has happened, where the pipe has gone towards the other end of the debris, and once that happens, the entire process has been planned and everything will work to perfection like a machine.
Thanks for that, Anshul. Great job done. You've been there for the last 10 days, and there's been some phenomenal reporting that's happened from the Network 18 team, including Anshul, Priyanka, Satyendra, and our other friends on ground as part of the News 18 network. We've tried to keep you ahead with the latest updates and, of course, the first visuals across this entire story. And let's hope we are all waiting for those happy faces of the workers as they come back to civilization after 9 to 10 days, 11 days actually, in isolation, huddled together in the middle of that tunnel amidst all darkness. But then kudos to the workers, the rescue workers, and all of them, the army, the BRO, and of course the doctors and the NDRF teams, along with the workers present on site who've been relentless and have not given up. We got to move on here on the right stand, but with the assurance that we will continue to track this story till the VRs here on the network, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ever since the abrogation of Article 370, and we're shifting focus from Uttarkashi just northward towards the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, there's been massive decline in terror activities in the UT. And the Jammu and Kashmir administration is also leaving no stone unturned to uproot the terror ecosystem too. So deeply have they been embedded over the last 4 or 5 decades that they have rooted themselves within the administrative system itself, ladies and gentlemen. And they're pushing this war against the terror ecosystem and its key stakeholders, trying to dismantle it altogether as in Naya Jammu and Kashmir. Now, these were elements who were surreptitiously inducted into the government machinery, the administrative machinery, by various political regimes at the behest of those entities who were inimical to Bharat and who were perhaps acting as proxies for the enemy sitting over in Pakistan. And the latest, there's been a crackdown against 4 more government officials for aiding, sheltering terrorists and terror activities. And in the last 3 years, the Union Territory Administration has invoked 311(2)(c) of the Constitution of India. So this article to sack more than 60 employees who were operating in shadows within the government and drawing salary from public exchequer. But they were actually helping Pakistani terror outfits. They were aiding, abetting this proxy war against Bharat, and they were furthering secessionist agenda on Bharatiya soil. Meanwhile, the National Conference and the PDP have questioned the crackdown, claiming that there's no existence or evidence again, and that the livelihood of common Kashmiris is being snatched in this entire garb of crackdown against a terror ecosystem or a proxy ecosystem. This Jammu and Kashmir administration, they began uprooting the park implants in 2021, and so far there have been 60 people or more than 60 people who've been sacked. Let's understand this. In 2021, there were 27 people who were sacked, 12 from the teaching profession, 5 government officials, 6 police department and 4 others. 2022, 17 were sacked, 5 from the teaching profession, 4 from government officials, 2 in the police department, 1 bank official and 5 others. 2023, 14 have been sacked so far between Jan to November, 5 teachers, university professors, education department, 3 medical officers, 3 government officials, 2 police in the police department and 1 social worker. So overall more than 60. Now who are these 4? who have been sacked by the Jammu and Kashmir administration. We'll tell you as we set up the big debate.
Hello, Moto.
So let's try and understand. So that's the ecosystem crackdown. Have park implants being uprooted? Dr. Nirmal Singh, former Deputy Chief Minister Jammu and Kashmir, will be joining us. We should have Advocate Nilofer Masood of the National Conference with us and Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. Namaste and Jai Hind. Gentlemen, thank you very, very much for joining us here on The Right Stand. 4 entities who have been sacked. We'll put out their details. All of them deeply embedded in the terror system. One of them had actually married his adopted daughter to the root cause of all of nearly 60% of these attacks. And he is operating out of Pakistan. Sajad Bhatt. Dr. Nirmal Singh, big crackdown this?
Yes. This is a all-out fight against terrorism. These were the people who have been recruited various institutions during 1990s and afterwards, when there was no government, and if the governments were there, definitely the system was such that these people, they could find places in education institutions, other government departments, and you will be remembering that in the 1990s, even police have been infected by these terrorists, and ultimately army had been called to the forced police to surrender their arms. That was in the initial stages, and it's the same police which is fighting the terrorism right now. But these people, they were still in the various departments providing information to the anti-nationals, to the Pakistani elements. And after the abrogation of Article 370, after 5th August 2019, all-out fight has been started against terrorism. And our agencies, our CID, our other central agencies, they are trying to find out all these people, and they are being sacked under under law.
One is a lab bearer in the education department who had connections with Sajid Jatt. The other one is a doctor, Nisarul Hassan. A third is a cop who was involved in drug trafficking also, and for over a decade. And he was a constable, Abdul Majid Bhatt. And then Farooq Ahmed worked as a teacher. So they had spread themselves across these systems.
Yes, because for more than 2 decades, these people, they have been recruited, and they have been recruited under pressure, because there was a time when in Kashmir, no nationalists, even in the departments, they could work. So this was pressure in the universities. You'll find that in the university, various teachers have been appointed, violating all these norms. I tell you, when I was a speaker, one person, he approached me with a request that I must be regularized. And he was absconding. I don't know whether he was associated with terrorists or not. But he was, time and again, he was coming to me and asking that I must be regularized. When I asked him, where were you during the and the system was supporting all those people, his colleagues and other people, they supporting him. But so this was the system which was working at that time. So all these people now they are being tracked down, and the action is being taken against them. And some of them, they were related to those separatists and the terrorists, which were sitting across, whether they were sitting across the border in Pakistan, or they were related to Hurriyat and all that. It was there. And now the government is asserting itself. They are being tracked down, and action is being taken against them.
Now, is this action haphazard? Is this action being done in haste? Or is it being done after proper deliberation and a proper investigation, Dr. Nirmal Singh? What's your understanding? PDP and National Conference are saying that ordinary Kashmiris, their lives are being snatched away from them.
I'll ask these people that you come up with the various facts. if they're trying to say that they are innocent, they must come forward. There are courts. Our Honorable High Court is there, or the lower courts are there. So still rule of law is there. They must come out. But the government is working after having comprehensive information, finding all the, you can say, facts, basic facts, and taking actions against them.
General Sanjay Kulkarni, was this an issue that there was help from within by these implants? And if the entire terror ecosystem has to come down, then this ecosystem has to be cracked down upon. The administrative system has to be cleaned up.
Definitely, Rahul. There's no denying the fact that this ecosystem, there has to be a tremendous amount of crackdown, because they were in all conditions. You just see after the abrogation of Article 370, as you rightly brought it, over 60 people. And they are not ordinary people. They're people with a lot of respect and repute. Doctors, you have senior police officers, you have constables, you have teachers. And at one point of time, there were 2,600 teachers enrolled who are not even secondary qualification they have. And imagine, they are, out of them, 1,700 are those teaching primary school. What kind of infiltration, what kind of terror link? I think it is unfortunate that we have political parties coming out to say so, because the government will never ever use Article 311 for the purpose of doing away with the duties, primarily because the terror links have been established. Notwithstanding that, they can go back to the rule of law and fight for themselves. But the fact still remains, they were deeply involved. They were at all times, these penetrations, providing logistics, working as overground workers, providing information, working with them, and ensuring that these kind of things are happening in the state. And from very, very senior people, very respected people. Can you imagine doctors? Can you imagine police officers, teachers, the Jamaitis who were part of it? Even at one point of time, the political parties would want to say that the madrasas have closed, and those teachers from there are being enrolled into these schools over here and now being brought into a regular payrolls and being paid for with an ideology which is absolutely disruptive and just fermenting such a terrorist system and links with the ISI. I think it's time that the government crack down, and this crackdown must continue. The political parties can't just immediately jump into trying to protect. No,
Right.
this kind of thing. What does that show? That they're definitely hand in gloves with them. Why else would they do such a thing?
Well, I think we have Mr. Najmu Saqib of the PDP on the phone line. Mr. Saqib, namaste. I just want to understand. Salam Radar, Nisarul Hassan, Abdul Majid Bhatt and Farooq Ahmad Mir, all of them sacked because of their links with terror and being part of an ecosystem that was working against the interests of Bharat. Your thoughts here, sir?
Well, look, the first issue that we have continuously raised is that a bureaucrat cannot be a judge, jury and executioner. If these officials do not have any recourse to justice and are not allowed to, take remedial measures from the court, I think that is very arbitrary. And that is why we have time and again said that these decisions are purely vindictive and purely sort of punishing the people of Kashmir. We have seen time and again where youngsters were picked up, locked in jails for years altogether, and then court finally says that those guys were not criminals and they were not involved in any activity. So all we are saying is that if you have certain sort of concrete proofs, there is police, there is intelligence mechanism available, take that evidence, take it to the court, present a case there, give them a fair trial. I mean, it is tomorrow, Anand, let's say, God forbid, tomorrow someone in your company accuses you of having terror links. Would you not have recourse to justice? Would you not have recourse to law? Would you not have recourse to court? I mean, that is the very basis of the judicial system that we have.
The provision, correct me if I am wrong, the provision under which they have been sacked, subclause C or the proviso clause 2, article 311 of the Constitution of India, in the interest of the security of the state, and they have done it based on proper investigation done and hard proof that has been got. If they wanted to sack them, and if they decided, no, I don't like this person, I want to sack him, they could have sacked them on the 6th of August 2019. That's not happened.
So that is our basic premise, Anand. Tomorrow, let's say a different government comes at center, and then they deploy these provisos against you. would you not have recourse to justice?
Yeah.
I mean, is it so arbitrary in the country that we cannot then let's shut the shop for the judiciary once and for all. Let's get done with it. I mean, can a bureaucrat decide that the other bureaucrat working against him or it does not
not working against him, working against the interest of the state.
That is the whole a bureaucrat does not get to decide that.
Let me ask Dr. Nirmal Singh to respond to you, Najmuji. Please stay with me. Yes, Dr. Nirmal Singh.
Whether these people they have approached the court, whether court has not accepted their plea. There are courts in Jammu and Kashmir, and after finding all these evidences against them, the government is proceeding against them. That's a fact. Don't generalize the things. That the government is working against the Kashmiris and all that. If these things they are happening here for the last 30 years, 2,000 people have been killed. Whether it was all, if there was no secessionism there, if the system was not, some of the people in the system were not helping them. Don't generalize the things. If you have specific you can say cases, you must approach the court. But they are only generalizing it. This is very unfortunate.
Najmu Saqib.
Anand, again, this is sweep. I respect Dr. Nirmal Singh. He is a very senior politician. He's been a former deputy chief minister. But in the heart of his heart, and he knows it that these guys do not have any recourse to the courts. The problem here is that a bureaucrat gets to decide that another bureaucrat works against the interests of the country. Let's say, God forbid, there is tomorrow another bureaucrat who does not like any bureaucrat. Then he sort of deploys these.
No, but you cannot invoke these provisions. You cannot invoke these provisions arbitrarily unless there is proof against them, and this proof has to stand the test and scrutiny of law. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ji.
If he can cite any example, if he can cite any example,
I have numerous cases to cite where these provisions or the different provisions were invoked, and these guys went to court, and then court quashed the judge decision.
So let them go to the court and get it quashed. But the point in this case.
The problem is that in this case they cannot go to the courts. That is the whole problem. Because the sort of
why can't they go to the courts? Why cannot go to the courts?
National security. Nirmal Singh ji, that is the whole.
No, please. Don't mislead the people. Don't mislead the nation, please. That's not the case.
Have judicial recourse.
That's not the case. You are misleading the people.
Why we are actually let's close the shop of judiciary once and for all.
No. It's not closing the shop of judiciary. Let's try and understand this. Let's look at the charges. Farooq Ahmed Mir. The charges against Farooq Ahmed Mir is to the extent that he had multiple times PSA invoked against him, and all the time that Public Security Act was invoked against him, and Public Safety Act, and he was in jail. He was marked present by the system. Who marked him present then? So somebody backed him.
Anand, hear me out. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
1 minute. If I use the same yardstick or the benchmark, do you know all the proxy parties, those who are in close proximity with the government, Nirmal Singh ji is, in know of all the details, they all have the same cases lodged against them. Why is BJP allying with them? Their senior leaders have so many serious cases and accusations against them pending in the court.
In that case, anybody and everybody could have been saying it's not. It's 60 people. It's 60 people out of nearly 4.5 lakh, if not more, of government employees. 60 people out of 4.
No. I'll cite a different reference.
Yeah.
Let's say in 2010, government promulgates a different policy of surrender and rehabilitation of ex-militants. They promulgate a policy, pass that legislation in the assembly, legally and constitutionally pass that assembly, that all those elements who were part of militancy at one point of time have been rehabilitated back into the system. And once they are rehabilitated back into the system, that means they start with a clean slate. And if they start with a clean slate, then you cannot accuse them of the crime that they have committed in the past,
the point
which
is,
the government itself has pardoned.
But the point is that once
the government itself has pardoned.
If the government government has pardoned for the past actions till 2011.
Yes,
Najmu Saqib, the government has pardoned for past action. Najmu ji, the government has pardoned.
If the government had taken a lenient view, it doesn't mean that these people they were not conniving with Pakistan. That
Let them go to the court, Nirmal Singh ji. Nirmal Singh ji, let them go to the
No.
court.
The idea is.
Government has evidence. Let them prove it in the court.
No. Here in this case, if these people who believe they have been, or who you believe have been unfairly sacked, let them go to the court and provide proof that there is no terror association.
They cannot go to Anand. That is the issue.
Okay.
They cannot go to the court.
So they cannot go to the court is what Najmu Saqib is saying. General Sanjay Kulkarni.
Anand, let's be very honest about it. We can keep on defending these people, but the fact still remains that they were conniving with the anti-nationals and that they had enough evidence against them and they were given lots of chances before they were thrown out. And that is why Article 11 of the Constitution...
Najmuji, let him complete and then you can speak over, please don't speak over each other. Let General Sanjay Kulkarni complete and then you may please counter, please. I request you. Yes, General Sanjay Kulkarni.
Anand, all along, they've been providing logistics, they've been spreading ideology, they've been providing information. They are the ones who are caught with weapons. They imagine for pistols being caught, they have ammunition, they have grenades, they have a whole lot of things with the people. They have been in supporting these IS activities. They have been working as OGW, and now amongst themselves, if some of the spokesperson were to say that they were innocent people, I think nobody under the sun would want to come in. Why just these 60 people have been picked up out of 100,000 people who are the government employees? Do we not know when we operate in the valley as to what kind of people we are dealing with on a daily basis?
Right.
Now, some of these people have that ideology. I'm telling you, the teachers are one of the biggest culprits in the state of J&K. No doubt about that. The Union Territory of J&K, ever since it has become one, it has ensured that these teachers are one of those big culprits. And now you have doctors, you have lab assistants, you have constables, you have police personnel, you have all kinds of these people who are wanting to say...
Right.
Let me respond.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So General Saab mentioned about teachers. Does he remember that who was the governor when the Falayam Trust policy was used by the government? It was Governor Jagmohan who formulated a policy of rehabilitation of all Jamaat members, and that is how Falayam Trust came into being, and they were sort of adjusted in the education department. Number one. Number second, we have Governor Saab today. We have Corps Commander GOC 15 Corps, and we have Northern Command GOCs requesting all the parents and the young guys who have resorted to militancy and requesting them to shun the path of the violence and come to the mainstream. Now, hypothetically, let's assume they do that. They follow his suggestions, they follow his request, shun the gun, and sort of start a normal life. And then tomorrow they are adjusted into the government sector. Now, will tomorrow any government come into the in vogue and then say, no, look, you have been in past, you have been a part and parcel of a government, of militancy. Now you cannot have a new life altogether. So you either need to have a continuity of the policy. One government formulates one policy, then you hold the other government responsible and sort of turn the tables and say, no, that policy was wrong. You need to have a continuity of the policy.
No, my point is,
if you want to rehabilitate,
it's not about rehabilitation. Najmuji, the simple point is, the state may have in the past said, all right, we're going to forget or we're going to forgive what they did in the past. But between 2011 to 2023, if they continue to act against the state, if they continue to harbor these sympathies for those entities who are inimical to Bharat and they're compromising security and they are living off the exchequer but while working for another entity, then this period, the last 12 years, is unpardonable. Then they stand to be this one. And if there is a history and they have a rap sheet.
Who would decide?
No, but if the administrative system has a mechanism by which they can legally invoke the clause and they can sack by the basis of the clause because they have done the due jurisprudence and due diligence at their end, they have to have that paperwork because they will also be subject to scrutiny somewhere or the other. And you can knock on the doors of the court. It's not that you cannot challenge it here. But yes, here the burden of proof lies on the sacked rather than those who actually move to sack them. So that's where the equation changes.
You cannot have presumption of the guilt. Let court decide. If there is a guilt, let
No, but if I want to, if there is a provision in the Constitution that you can take this act, especially when it comes to the interest of the state or security, national security, then you can invoke this clause. They have invoked the clause. Then challenge the clause itself.
Our point is, okay, those might have been 5 cases, 10 cases.
Right.
You cannot for years and years and years and altogether you have hundreds of these cases where you.
There aren't hundreds of these cases, sir. There aren't hundreds of these cases. As of now, they are just above 60, and there are specific cases with each one of them highlighted. Each one of them highlighted individual cases.
Of 60 people
Right.
out of 4 lakh employees that are currently in the,
Correct.
You cannot have.
So if they wanted to sack 4 lakh, if they wanted to sack a majority of these 4 lakh employees, they could have gone ahead and invoked this clause against all and sundry. That's not that sudden. They are invoking it. They are invoking it against specifically 60. But these could be the bane of all problems. If these people are, if these people are the bane or the root cause of perhaps certain problems endemic to Jammu and Kashmir, which need to be changed, then that's the fix that's happening. Gentlemen, thank you for your time, and I appreciate Najbuji for you joining us on very short notice. Thank you very much, Dr. Nirmal Singh and Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we shift the focus to the political debate of the day, ladies and gentlemen, and it's around a crackdown on a case of alleged corruption, which has been doing the rounds of the court since 2015. There has been a certain charge and bail granted on this, and the entire National Herald case comes back into focus just around the time Rajasthan goes to polls, because properties of AJL have been attached, nearly 650 crores worth of it. Is this crackdown or intimidation? We debate when we come back. Stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Co-powered by
fingers crossed. We are hoping that we will get that very good news that we all have been waiting for the last 11 days within the next few hours itself, probably by tomorrow morning or by tomorrow afternoon. We are expecting, in fact the rescuers are also expecting, that they will be able to successfully get all these people out who are stuck inside. At this point in time, the biggest update that we are bringing to our viewers is that the auger machine, which had started working late last night, has finally been able to dig through the debris, and almost 34 meters of debris has been dug through, which means that 6 pipes have already gone inside. The welding process for the 7th pipe is underway at this point in time, whereas if you talk about the entire length of the debris that is being predicted at this point in time by the rescuers is of 54 meters. So approximately 20 more meters needs to go through. The work is ongoing in full swing. I'll just try and show you in the visuals. You can see over here the work is absolutely going on in full swing. The welding process has already started. Within the next few hours, the 7th pipe will also be pushed in, which means that the length of the debris, the drilling length of the pipes would reach somewhere around the 40 meters mark. So yes, a lot of work is ongoing. The breakfast this morning has also been given to the workers. On the other hand, if you talk about the other plans, the border road organization has successfully been able to build the entire road to the vertical top from where the drilling process could start. But yes, that could still take a lot of time. But keep that aside, the biggest ray of hope, the light at the end of tunnel, is certainly getting brighter. We are hoping to get that very good news very quickly, very soon. The workers inside, who are working relentlessly to make sure that this rescue operation is completed at the earliest, they are also very optimistic. Certainly a sense of happiness and a sense of positivity is something that can be sensed in the air over here, because remember the time when the auger machine broke down and the work was stopped, there was definitely a lot of gloom over here, and hence over the last 2 days. The engineers over here have worked round the clock, made sure that the entire structuring inside the tunnel is done, and post that the drilling process also starts. It took almost 50 to 60 hours for them to actually prepare the entire ground, and post that this operation that has now started is going on in full swing. But still, fingers crossed, there still is no issue, but no issues that they have encountered at this point in time. But yes, the last 20 meters is something that is the most crucial. Out of this 20 meter, at least the last 10 meters is something that is the most crucial part of this operation, because remember, there could be heavy machineries that could come in the way of the pipes that are being drilled in. But yes, the analysis has been done, the electromagnetic analysis and the geophysics analysis of the debris has been done, and the rescuers are hopeful that they will be able to negate through those machines as well. So yes, the next few hours is going to be very, very crucial. Approximately till the 45-meter mark is where the rescuers expect that they could encounter problems. Once that 45-meter mark is crossed, then the road ahead is definitely going to be very, very easy for them. So yes, the next 10 meters that is going to be drilled through now, that is going to be the most crucial part of this entire operation, which means over the next 5 to 6 hours is the time when we are expecting that this entire drilling through the 10 meter of debris is going to get completed, and post that the remaining part of the debris is going to be an easy terrain, is what the rescuers expect at this point in time. Now, since it is becoming more and more optimistic for the people, for the rescuers, that these people would be taken out safely and at the earliest, and that is the reason why the administration has now put on standby at least 20 ambulances, and if required, if the situation of anyone who is inside the tunnel is not good, then 40 ambulances could also be brought in. The work for that has also started. At least 20 ambulances have been put on standby at this point in time. So at least the last 9 days, in fact out of the 11 days, the last 9 days was very troublesome. There was a lot of anger amongst the family members because they did not feel that any sort of work was happening, because the work that was happening was not of the drilling but of structuring that was going on inside the tunnel, and that was something very, very scientific and technical, and definitely the kind of emotions that these people had, you can't blame them for not understanding that. But since the first visuals have come to the fore, a strong communication line has been established, these people are being allowed to speak to their family members who are stuck inside. The confidence has definitely increased, and as I told you, there is a sense of optimism now that within the next few hours all of them would be taken out safely, and we can expect that and that is what the family members also expect at this point in time. Their body language has definitely changed over the last 24 hours, I should say, and definitely the kind of progress that has been made at this point in time is something that should be cherished. But yes, fingers crossed, we are still hoping that the next 10 meters that needs to be drilled through, that can be done with all safety and at the earliest. Post that, the good news is not such.
Back on, ladies and gentlemen, and ahead of the 2024 battle and amid ongoing assembly polls, trouble mounts for the Congress party as the Enforcement Directorate has widened its probe in the entire National Herald case. The ED has attached 751.9 crore worth of assets in a money laundering investigation involving the National Herald newspaper owned by the Congress-affiliated Young India Limited. The central agency has stated that the probe revealed that Associated Journals Limited, AJL's possession of the proceeds of crime in the form of immovable properties. The ED also stated that a young Indian is in possession of proceeds of crime worth 90.21 crore. The ED has attached 3 properties: AJL House in Mumbai, National Herald House in Delhi, and Nehru Bhavan in Uttar Pradesh's Lucknow. In response, Congress has criticized the ED's actions as petty vendetta tactics and accused the ED of being a coalition partner of the BJP. The party claimed that the BJP is utilizing agencies like the Enforcement Directorate for political purposes, anticipating defeat in the upcoming assembly polls. Meanwhile, the BJP hitting back at the Gandhis looting Indians and saying that they think freedom fighters' properties are their own, but they are not. Let's go straight across to our guests and hit the debate. Ladies and gentlemen, Tui Sinha, national spokesperson of the BJP with us, L. Hanumanthaiah, Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress Party with us, and AP Singh, former Deputy Legal Advisor to the ED. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for joining us. AP Singh ji, let me start with you and ask you, is the ED a coalition partner of the ruling disposition?
Hi. Yeah, good evening to all of you. First of all, I would like to make little correction. I am AC Singh, Ashish Chandra Singh.
My apologies, sir.
AC Singh.
I stand corrected. Ashish ji, sorry.
It's all right.
Go ahead, please.
So, yeah, actually, you know, so far as Prevention of Money Laundering Act is concerned,
Ji.
this money laundering offence is a secondary offence. Primary offence is a scheduled offence which is investigated or in respect of which a criminal complaint had been filed before the magistrate who had taken the cognizance. So one cannot say that any action is in retaliation or against anyone.
Right.
And secondly, number two, this provisional attachment order is incidental to investigation carried out under PMLA. Actually, under section 5(1), this provisional attachment order is passed. It is passed for a period of 180 days, provided it is confirmed by adjudicating authority, where the aggrieved person will have a right or his counsel shall have a right to argue the case. So, this is as per scheme propounded under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So, one cannot blame that agencies are doing anything wrong, because the investigation had been carried out since long in this case. So, as and when the investigation is complete, they come across, they find out that a prima facie case is made out, they have reason to believe that the properties are proceeds of crime, then only they take action in accordance with section 5(1), and that action has been taken by enforcement directorate.
So, but Ashish Singh ji is explaining it beautifully, Mr. L. Hanumantaya. Why is the Congress saying and making all these accusations against the ED? Why is it saying that this is all petty vendetta tactics?
No, there is a case in ED. You have to observe all the cases which has been booked by ED in all the states with regard to the political leaders. For a moment you leave the case of this. I wanted to explain you. See, the ED which has booked, which has confiscated the properties of the opposition party leaders across the country amounts to 98%. And the ruling party MPs, whoever there in the case, as their property is not been confiscated and cases and FIRs are not booked on them. See, now come down to Herald case. Herald case, the legal luminaries of the country have explained and said there is no case in this and there is no money laundering in this. Still, the case is before the court. But the ED confiscated the properties which are inherited by even before independence. Nehru Bhavan in Lucknow was from many years and there was no money laundering at all. Still, they have confiscated the property. Is it not a head politics and the politics of vengeance? And you take the cases of ED. Any MP or any important person, any opposition leader has been taken into custody, inquire them. After they join BJP, they will become clean and nobody knows what happened to their cases. I can give you a lot of examples on this. When such is the track record of ED, what they are doing today, what they are doing on Sonia ji, Rahul ji, they are the shareholders of that group, which the paper has been started by Nehru, not today. And how can you confiscate the property which has been owned by this trust? This is a separate entity. And anybody who have given donation, is it banned? Giving donation to a particular trust or society, has it been banned as per our laws? And how the ED can say that it is wrong? We will not.
Sir,
Here they have
sir,
questioned
if all of us,
DK Shivkumar.
Sir,
He has just donated.
Sir, if all of us
Pawan
could make,
Bansal,
Hanumantaya ji, if you, me, all of us could make
Sir,
such
please,
donations,
please tell me, please tell me.
and could get
Yeah.
could get properties for making such donations which are more than 10x of the actual donation, please let us all go ahead and make such donations. But Tuin Sinha, how would you want to respond?
No,
that the
definitely.
action is taken around election time.
No,
it is taken only
for
against
such-
opposition.
No, I'll come back to you.
Hanumantaya ji, please yield.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Please yield. Let Tuin Sinha please, and then you can respond. Yes, Tuin Sinha. You're targeting only the opposition.
Well, namaste, Anand.
Namaste.
Namaste, Anand. Prima facie, it seems that the National Herald case is a classic manifestation of the Gandhi family's rare abilities at financial fraud, deception, and potential money laundering. 90 crore rupees being given as a loan by a political party to AJL. Number one, is it legally permissible? Number two, was it money laundered, or was it, was it just book entry? So there are several questions which border upon complete fraud. Number one, it is criminal breach of trust towards 1,000 shareholders who were ex-freedom fighters, and who were given, shareholding because of their contribution to India's freedom movement. Overnight, by virtue of, the inception of this shady company called Young India Limited, whose charitable purposes or whose charitable activities we still don't know till now. Overnight, the 1,000 shareholders are reduced to 1% of shareholding, and Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, who own 76% of that company, acquire or usurp AJL by default by a meager payment of 76 lakhs. So it is a huge financial fraud that involves potential money laundering, and the proceeds of the crime over here is the usurping of properties worth 2,000 crore. So if the proceeds of the crime are partially taken back by the ED is within its rights to do that. What is the problem with that? I think the Gandhi family has a lot to answer over here. The sense of entitlement they come with, I think it is the Congress workers who should be questioning them. Rather, the Congress seems to be supporting this act of personal aggrandizement.
2015, Mr. Hanumantaya, this is what the Delhi High Court says. Modus operandi adopted by petitioners evidences criminal intent. And I'm quoting the court, not me, okay? It's not my court. There is a clear case to summon petitioners as accused. Questionable conduct of petitioners needs to be properly examined. The same Delhi High Court 3 years later, AJL asked to vacate Herald House in 2 weeks. Questionable takeover of AJL by Young Indian. Dominant purpose for lease to AJL practically lost. Allegations of malafide are preposterous. Failed to understand how ruling dispensation defamed Nehru. These are the courts, sir. Delhi High Court has said this.
No, I wanted to, I just clarify this. The law of the land has not given the final judgment on the case. Case is in, there is a Supreme Court. Supreme Court has to spell out, yes, there is a fraud. Then whatever you are telling, I can agree.
So that means
But
the
that
Delhi
has not
High
been
Court's
done. It is
verdict does
over.
not
The
stand.
case is not yet over.
The Delhi High Court's verdict, its
No, there
observations
is-
doesn't
see,
stand.
High Court-
The Delhi High Court upholding the charges
No,
against and then
see,
granting
there can
bail to the accused.
There can be observations.
Does not work.
You
No,
know,
they
lower
upheld the
courts have
charges and then
observed-
granted bail, sir.
Lower courts have convicted. Lower courts have convicted, but the Supreme Court has released. Supreme Court has given the relief in many cases in
Yeah.
this country.
Correct.
So, why are you taking immediately the High Court
No, but till the time the Supreme
observations
Court
are
decides,
going to be the decisions.
till the time the Supreme Court decides, we have to go
at
by
least
the High
wait
Court
for
judgment.
the decision of the Supreme Court.
Till the time the Supreme Court decides,
So
we
why
have to go.
can't you wait for the Supreme Court decision?
Mr. Hanumantaya, has the Supreme
which is
Court
the law of
stayed the High
land?
Court's judgment?
Yeah.
Has the Supreme Court stayed the High Court judgment? Has the Supreme Court said that till the time the proceedings are going on and we are hearing of the proceedings, the High Court judgment does not stand? It's not said anything like that. Till the time the matter is not
No,
decided
there
by
will
the
be a
top
final-
court, the Delhi
there
High
will
Court
be a
judgment
final
stands.
judgment.
No, and,
Please
no,
wait
no,
for that.
and I'm going to request
You
Ashish
please
Singh ji
wait
to
for
please
the judgment.
respond to the tone that you have used against the ED and the allegations that you have made against the ED, Mr. Hanumantaya. I will request Mr. Ashish Singh to respond to that. Ashish ji.
Yeah. First and foremost, I would like to point out that so far as these proceedings are concerned, attachment proceedings, they are quasi-criminal in nature, and once the proceedings have taken place, then the opposite side will have ample opportunity to appear and argue the case. Number two, as Mr. Hanumataya was alleging, that only why at this juncture such action has been taken. With regard to that, I would like to point out that the proceedings under PMLA Act, they are time-bound proceedings. They are not like that for years together it goes on. Because once attachment order has been passed by virtue of section 83A of PMLA, within 365 days the ED has to file the prosecution complaint before a special court. Otherwise, the entire attachment shall lapse. It shall die its own death. So, my submission is, my view is that they have taken, when they have completed the investigation qua those properties and they came across that these properties are proceeds of crime, they took action. Now it ball is in their court, because as per scheme propounded under PMLA, within 30 days from the date of attachment order, ED is required to file OC. It is called original complaint before adjudicating authority constituted under section 6 of the PMLA. And thereafter, the party will get an opportunity to file their reply. Thereafter, the adjudicating authority shall invite them to argue. ED counsel will remain there and opposite side aggrieved person counsel will be there, and after being satisfied, the adjudicating authority may confirm or may not confirm. If any action has been taken which is not in accordance with law, the adjudicating authority is a quasi-judicial body. It is distinct and different from enforcement directorate. So, this is altogether untenable by alleging all these things. Instead, they should approach to the court, they should approach with clean hands before the court of law and seek remedy as per their advice.
Mr. Hanumataya and then Tuhin Sinha.
Yes, we are doing it. We are doing it. Our legal team is on the job. We are doing it. We are hoping that we are going to get the justice in the higher court. And ED, I am just talking the track record of ED, what they are doing. And I don't know, many a times the courts have questioned ED's actions in many cases. Likewise, this case also, they will be questioned and we will get the remedy in the higher court. I am hopeful there is no fraud in this case. It is only an allegation. It is an allegation just because the Gandhi family is involved in that, just because the Congress party is doing in this, is a part of this case. So I am very, very clearly telling you, this case, the Congress party will win.
So, okay, the Congress party will
win.
win.
The case. There is no doubt about
The Congress party will win. So then we should use this Congress model of acquiring and running newspapers and acquiring properties.
You know, Anand, it is very sad.
That
to
will be
see
questioned
the
by the
average
court
Congress
and when
worker
Let
say
Mr.
justify.
No, I must.
No, Mr.
Please,
Hanumataya,
one second.
you cannot cannibalize. You cannot cannibalize. You cannot cannibalize others talk
Have
time.
some manners.
I said, Mr. Tuhin Sinha, yield. Then I'll come back to you, sir. Please. I request you.
You know, Anand,
Yes,
it
please.
is very sad to see the average Congress worker justify this, this encroachment or this acquiring, this illegal acquiring of public property by a family through an act of conspiracy. Mind you, the entire process of the formation of Young India Limited, which remains a shady organization 8 years after its inception, was a conspiracy to acquire public property, which was a legacy of freedom fighters by a family. So I think, this kind of a criminal act, if it is condoned by the average Congress worker, that shows what the Congress party has come to. It is very shameful that they themselves
let
should
me
be standing
ask
up
you-
against it and against the family which did it.
Correct. If it's so glaring and if it is so open and shut that someone like a Dr. Subramanian Swamy could argue this court case in the Delhi High Court and get the kind of observations from the Delhi High Court in 2015, then Suhimsana, my question to you is, sir, 2015 to 2023, 8 saal ho gaye, sir, 2 terms are over. Of the government.
Anand, if you ask me, ideally,
so there is something
you
called super
ideally-
slow-mo in cricket,
No, I
but
agree
this
with
beats
you.
even super slow-mo by 100 super slow-mos.
I agree with you. People like Hemant Soren, Lalu Yadav and Rahul Gandhi should have been in jail by now. You know, so I'm equally surprised why it has taken so much time, but this shows that, you know, we don't have much control over the working of the ED. They have their own processes, they have their own, you know, backlogs to clear. But yes, I mean,
So this
these three cases involving the land for jobs, the land for jobs scam, the Jharkhand mining case, and this case are so direct that sooner than later the culprit should land in jail.
This is the classic dhol, Ashish Singh ji. Opposition says government is controlling you. Government says we have no control about ED. We can't answer for why it has taken such a long time. So ये तो ढोल की तरह दोनों तरफ से ED को ही बज रहा है.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
No, there, Ashish ji.
Yeah, I would like to point out that
Ji.
so far as these investigations are under PMLA are concerned, these investigations are very cumbersome. Because of this thing, so many bulk of documents are to be examined, each and every page has to be read, then only, because these are financial crimes. And Supreme Court has time and again said that conventional crimes are not so heinous in comparison to these financial crimes, because they are committed with cool and calculated mind.
Right.
So therefore, it is but natural that proper investigation is done. It is to be done in accordance with
It takes
law.
time. It takes time.
Otherwise-
Ashish ji, I have run out of time, so I have
Yeah,
to
it takes
respectfully
time, no doubt.
interrupt you and wind this proceedings up on the right stand tonight. But it takes time, but it also tests your patience, ladies and gentlemen. If there is an act of corruption, it should be punished. Otherwise, there should not be use of government machinery for intimidation. The jury is out. We are also out here out of the right stand. Zakir Jacob ready with brass tacks. Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. The Enforcement Directorate, upon instructions from a court in Delhi, has gone ahead and attached properties worth 750 crore rupees of Associated Journals and Young Indian. Now, they claim that these were prime properties of AJL, which is a company controlled by the Gandhis, managed to get for cheap. This case has been in the public domain since 2015, since a private complaint led to a court summons to the Gandhis. They have been interrogated multiple times in the past as well. But now the Congress says that this attachment, coming as it does, bang in the middle of election season, exposes the BJP's nervousness. The Congress says that the timing of it is all wrong because it's happening in the middle of election season, and this betrays the BJP's nervousness. But is the timing a valid argument, or is it a weak defense? Because this case, like I said, has been in the public domain for the better part of the last 8 years. And to the BJP, if in 8 years you have not been able to find or take this case to its logical conclusion, to find conclusion